alone. All right, students, please take your seat. Students, welcome to Meadows High, all you seniors. This is your special school play today. I'm Sister Teresa O'Malley Goldberg, and I'm from the Sisters of Unneedy. Our #1 star student, who's gotten through all Regents exams and French and Spanish, please welcome Connor.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Festivus for the rest of us, Happy New Year's. How's everyone? Ready for the show? Yes! All right, well, first up, we have our Vice President here at the Meadows, Paul Bartlett. He's performing Blue Christmas. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey, Connor, is that microphone good? Yep. Okay, awesome.
Testing. Mary Fico, please come out to the main office, please. Mary Fico.
All right. Just like that, right?
Very
A little attitude. All right. Well, this song was made popular by Elvis, and I promise you I won't sound anything like him, but I'll do my best. I gotta move this. This is distracting me. So, let's see. I gotta do a little sound here. Turn you on. It's the volume. Turn that up. Okay. Hope this doesn't make anybody sad. I'm gonna dedicate this one to all the girls that broke up with me. It's a Blue Christmas. Here we go. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree. Oh, won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. When those blue, like that, snowflakes start falling, and when those blue memories start calling, you'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue Christmas. I started to cry. So blue, just thinking about you. With decorations of red on a green Christmas tree, will it won't be the same, dear? Well, if you're not here with me, and those blue snowflakes they start falling, that's when those blue memories they stop calling. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue Christmas. Well, you'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue Christmas. Well, I'll have a blue Christmas. Thank you very much.
another round of applause. Maybe your rep will go down now. Let's do it one more time. We have two announcements that just came from the PA system from the other sisters around the room. Apparently, Eleanor Belch, a missionary from Ireland, she will be here speaking tonight at Calvary Methodist Church. Come here, Eleanor Belch, all the way from Ireland. Ladies, don't forget the rummage sale. The sale is next Saturday. It's a chance to get rid of all those things that are no longer wanted or worth keeping around the house. Don't forget to bring your husbands.
After those wonderful jokes here, let's give a nice round of applause for Chantel Foster and John Surrey.
Well, I get to bring John back again this time, and he sings at my church, and I get to sing with him on a weekly basis, and it's so cool. It's such a wonderful thing to actually be able to sing with someone who's talented. So we get to share him again with all of you. And at this time of year, when we gather around and we think about all of the people that we love and the traditions that we share in, we're all excited at my house. We're filled with joy, and my little boys are just anticipating so much, not only just the spirit that we're feeling, but the fact that they are coming, Santa's coming with Christmas presents. Those Christmas presents are on their way, but that anticipation that we feel, I teach my boys about our faith and how we have anticipation for the little baby's birth, that the little child that came to just be here for all of us, and we treasure those times together as family. And so today we're going to just hear a little song that you all know very well, called "Oh Holy Night," and what a holy night it was. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night when our dear Savior's birth. Long may the world
so much, Shane telling John. That was terrific. So, two young boys were spending the night at their grandparents' the week before Thanksgiving, Christmas. At bedtime, the two boys knelt beside their beds to say their prayers when the youngest one began praying at the top of his lungs. I pray for a new bicycle. I pray for a new TV. I pray for Nintendo. His older brother leaned over and nudged the younger brother and said, "Why are you shouting your prayers? God isn't deaf." To which the little brother replied, "No, but Grandma is."
That was so inappropriate. Why did I say that? We do have another announcement, though, that just came over. There will be a bean supper held Tuesday evening in the church cafeteria. Music to follow. It's my special duty to introduce two legendary movie stars who happen to live here at the Meadows. You never knew it, but they were famous movie stars from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, both known for their B movies. Please welcome to our stage Jackie Stryker and Ray Fratkin, singing, The Night Before Hanukkah. Okay.
'Twas the night before Hanukkah, of Wojcik and Madels. Not a sound could be heard, not even a dreidel. The menorah was set on the chimney alight. In the kitchen, the bubba put gutzput a bite. Salami pastrami, a glass of latte, and sour pickles with bagels. Oy vey. Gesund and Geschmack. The Kinderle felt, with dreaming of Tegelach and Hanukkah gelt.
The clock on the mantelpiece away was ticking, and Bubba was serving a shtickle of chicken. A tumult arose like 1,000 brachas. Santa had fallen and broken his tachas. I put on my slippers, eins, zwei, drei, while Bubba was now on the herring and rye. I grabbed for my bathrobe and buttoned my gotkeys, while Bubba was busy devouring the latkes.
To the window I ran, and to my surprise, a little red yarmulke greeted my eyes. And then he got to the door and saw the menorah. Yiddische Kinder, he said, kinda horror. I thought I was in Goyische house, but as long as I'm here, I'll leave you a few toys.
With much geschrei I asked, "Du bist a Yidden? About Newman is Sloane Claus kid. Come into the kitchen, I'll get you a dish. A gupple, a stickle of fish." With smacks of delight, he started his fressin. Chopped liver, ganedlach, and kreplach gegessen. Along with his meal, he had a few schnapps. When it came to eating, this boy was the tops.
He asked for some knishes and pepper and salt, but they were so hot he yelled, "Oi, gewalt!" Unbuttoning his husband, he rose from the tish and said, "Your kosher essen is simply delish." And he went to the door and said, "I'll see you later. I'll be back next Pesach to time for the Seder." So I'm not finished yet. More rapid than eagles as prancers they came, as he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Izzy, now Morris, now Lisa, now Sammy, now Irving and Maxie and Moishe and Manny. He gave a geschrei as he drove out of sight. Good Yom to all, and to all a good night.
What a lovely rendition there. It was the night before Hanukkah. Up next, we have our environmental services team featuring Mildred, David, Shakel, Edza, Yahira, and Johanna performing Christmas Prananda.
they should be praying just a little bit more, though. I do. We do have just several more quick announcements. Oh, I'm sorry. First announcement is that the evening, next evening at 7 p.m., there will be a hymn singing in the park across from the church. Bring a blanket and come prepared to sing. Also, ladies' Bible study will be held Thursday morning at 10 a.m. All ladies are invited to lunch in the fellowship hall after the BS is done. Bible study. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our stage Will Cowing, Joan Conway, Pat Brogan, and our own Jan Kennedy. Performing A Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol was written by Charles Dickens in 1843. In 1843. The synopsis, we want to thank Irene Conway for the delightful synopsis of the original story. And she's the daughter of Joan, and we cannot forget the work that was done on the scripts and the innumerable changes and everything. And we want to thank Karen and Connor. So close your eyes and go back to the golden days of radio when this was performed by Lionel Barrymore. Thank you.
The story of A Christmas Carol. A mean-spirited, miserly old man named Ebenezer Scrooge sits in his counting house on a frigid Christmas Eve. His clerk, Bob Cratchit, shivers in the anteroom because Scrooge refuses to spend money on heating coals for a fire. Scrooge's nephew Fred pays his uncle a visit and invites him to his annual Christmas party.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
It was the voice of Scrooge's nephew Fred.
Bah, humbug.
A portly gentleman also dropped by and asked Scrooge for a contribution to his charity.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provisions for the poor and the destitute who suffer greatly at this present time. Are there no prisons? Plenty of prisons. And the union workhouses? Are they still in operation? Yes, sir. I'm sure they are, but I wish they weren't. Oh, I was afraid that something had happened to them. But you said it first. And said stop them in their useful course. I'm glad to hear they're still going.
Seeing that his efforts were to no avail, the gentleman leaves. Later that evening, after returning to his dark, cold apartment, Scrooge receives a chilling visitation from the ghost of his dead partner, Jacob Marley.
He hears a noise deep down below, as if some person were dragging a heavy chain over the cask in the wine merchant's cell. Scrooge then remembers to have heard that ghosts in haunted houses were described as dragging chains. The ghost suddenly appears. I know him, it's Marley. Ebenezer, Ebenezer, I have come to save you from my fate.
Marley, looking haggard and pallid, relates his unfortunate story. As punishment for his greedy and self-serving life, his spirit has been condemned to wander the earth weighted down with heavy chains. Marley hopes to save Scrooge from sharing the same fate. Marley informs Scrooge that 3 spirits will visit him during each of the next 3 nights. After the wraith disappears, Scrooge collapses into a deep sleep. He wakes moments before the arrival of the ghost of Christmas past, a strange, childlike phantom with a brightly glowing head. The spirit escorts Scrooge on a journey into the past to previous Christmases from the curmudgeon's earlier years. Invisible to those he watches, Scrooge revisits his childhood school days, his apprenticeship with a jolly merchant named Fezziwig, and his engagement to Belle, a woman who leaves Scrooge because his lust for money eclipses his ability to love another. The fair young girl, in whose eyes there were tears, says softly, "It matters little, to you very little. Another idol has replaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, have no just cause to grieve."
What idol has displaced you?
"A gold one." Scrooge, deeply moved, sheds tears of regret before the phantom returns him to his bed.
The ghost of Christmas present, a majestic giant clad in a green fur robe, takes Scrooge through London to unveil Christmas as it will happen that year. Scrooge watches a large, bustling Cratchit family prepare a miniature feast in their meager home. He discovers Bob Cratchit's crippled son, Tiny Tim, a courageous boy whose kindness and humility warm Scrooge's heart. The specter then zips Scrooge to his nephews to witness that Christmas party. Scrooge finds the jovial gathering delightful and pleased with the spirit to stay until the very end of the festivities. As the day passes, the spirit ages, becoming noticeably older. Toward the end of the day, he shows Scrooge two starved children, Ignorance and Want, living under his coat. He vanishes instantly as Scrooge notices a dark, hooded figure coming toward him. The ghost of Christmas yet to come leads Scrooge through a sequence of mysterious scenes relating to an unnamed man's recent death. Scrooge sees businessmen discussing the dead man's riches, some vagabonds trading his personal effects for cash, and a poor couple expressing relief at the death of their unforgiving creditor. Scrooge, anxious to learn the lesson of his latest visitor, begs the name of the dead man. Big mistake.
Am I the man who lays upon the bed? Who lays upon that bed? The finger pointed from the grave to him and back again. No, spirit, no, no! The finger was still there.
After pleading with the ghost, Scrooge finds himself in a churchyard, the spirit pointing to a grave. Scrooge looks at the headstone and is shocked to read his own name. He desperately implores the spirit to alter his fate, promising to renounce his insensitive, avaricious ways. Whoosh! He suddenly finds himself safely tucked into his bed. Overwhelmed with joy by the chance to redeem himself and grateful that he has been returned to Christmas Day, Scrooge rushes out into the street, hoping to share his newfound Christmas spirit. He sends a giant turkey to the Cratchit house and attends Fred's party to the stifled surprise of the guests.
I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year. I will live in the past, present, and future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons they teach. Oh, tell me that I yet may sponge the writing on that stone.
As the years go by, he holds true to his promise and honors Christmas with all his heart. He treats Tiny Tim as if he were his own child. He lavishes gifts on the poor and treats his fellow human beings with kindness, generosity, and warmth.
And as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
You know, she was so nervous about people not being able to hear her, but I think it was perfect. Joe Conway. Let's give everyone a nice round of applause. So as we get ready here for our next performance, just a little something I was reading the other day I thought was funny. A family had twin boys whose only resemblance to each other were their looks. Opposite in every way, one was an eternal optimist, the other a doom and gloom pessimist. Just to see what would happen on Christmas Day, their father loaded the pessimist room with every imaginable toy and game possible. The optimist room he loaded with horse manure. That night, the father passed by the pessimist room and found him sitting amid his new gifts, crying bitterly. "Why are you crying?" the father asked. "Because my friends will be jealous. I'll have to read all these instructions before I can do anything with this stuff. I'll constantly need batteries, and my toys will eventually get broken," answered the pessimist twin. Passing the optimist twin's room, the father found him dancing for joy in the pile of manure. "What are you so happy about?" he asked. To which he replied, "There's got to be a pony in here somewhere." So up next, initially it was supposed to be Nancy Rhodes along with Carol Knight, but unfortunately Carol's a little under the weather. So Nancy, musically inclined, musically talented as can be, is changing it up a little bit, and she is going to be performing some sing-along holiday tunes. So if you know the words, feel more than free to sing along. Enjoy.
Okay, Frosty, here we go.
We do have a couple more announcements. I just was given a couple announcements. First of all, Joyce remains in the hospital and needs blood donors for more transfusions. She's doing okay, but she has trouble sleeping, and she requests tapes of Pastor Jack's sermons. All right, excuse me. At the evening services tonight, the sermon topic will be, What is Hell? Come early and listen to our choir practice. And finally, just to remind you, tonight is Low Self-Esteem Support Group. That will meet at 7 p.m. Please use the back doors.
Let's give a warm round of applause for Barb Lickman, Rhea Feinberg, Betty Tishkoff, Harriet Schulman, and Benita Silverstern as they perform Hanukkah, O Hanukkah.
Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Coins to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Coins to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning bright. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Coins to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
Happy Hanukkah!
Let's give them one more round of applause, huh? Dynamo performance.
There is another announcement. 8 new choir robes are currently needed due to the addition of several new members and to the deterioration of some older ones. Excuse me. There was an error, however, in the last week's bulletin. It said, attend and you will hear an excellent speaker and heave a healthy lunch. The church will host an evening of fine dining, super entertainment, and gracious hostility. That was not the case. One of us, while we were over there, we were told a story. It was kind of a sad story, but bottom line is that husband and wife were sleeping, and it was raining heavily out. And all of a sudden the doorbell rang, and they woke up and they said, well, someone's at the door. And so they went down, and at the door was this man soaking wet. He was standing at the door, and he said, please, will you give me a push? And they looked at each other and they said, a push? It's 2 in the morning. He said, please, will you give me a push? So the husband got irritated. He said, it's 2 in the morning, you woke me up. And the wife stopped him and said, wait a minute, don't you remember when you were down, when years ago we were out driving, and our car stalled, and we were soaking wet, and we went to the house and we asked for help, and they helped us? This is your time to help. He felt terrible. He said, well, I think you're right. Let me get my slippers. He goes upstairs, comes back out. It's still pouring rain out, pouring rain. He opens the door and he looks for the man. He says, where are you? Where are you? And he heard in the corner of his ear, he hears, I'm here, I'm here. I'm over here by the swing set.
All right, all right. Let's keep it moving here, all right? Next up, we have Brenda Rutt, Joan Conway, Barbara Klein, Pat Brogan, Sherry Steron, Reva Sipser, Carol Pearson, Reva Sipser's daughter, Shafara, and Doris Adamick performing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. All right. So last year, just before Hanukkah, Miriam, a grandmother, was giving directions to her grown-up grandson who was coming to visit with his wife. You come to the front door of the condominium complex. I'm in apartment 2B. Miriam continued, this is a big panel at the door. With your elbow, push button 2B. I will buzz you in. Come inside, the elevator's on your right. Get in, and with your elbow, hit 2. When you get out, I'm on the left. And with your elbow, hit my doorbell. Grandma, that sounds easy, replied Jonathan, the grandson. But why am I hitting all these buttons with my elbow? To which she answered, you're coming to visit empty-handed? Next on our list here, Jean Loomis. Some of you might have heard of her. She's worked here a couple years. She's performing 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Let's give her a round of applause.
What are you all laughing at? You are all a bunch of rotten socks. Okay. Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I have a good story to share with you. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all around my hips were Fannie Mae candies that sneaked past my lips. Fudge brownies were stored in the freezer with care. in the hopes that my thighs would forget where they were. While Mama in her girdle and I in my chin straps had just settled down for sugar-born naps. When out of the pantry there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the kitchen. I flew like a fat flash, tore open the icebox, and threw up the sash. The marshmallow look of the new fallen snow sent thoughts of binge to my body below. And what to my wandering eyes should appear but a marzipan Santa with 8 chocolate reindeer. That huge chunk of candy, so luscious and thick, I knew in a second that I would be sick. The sweet-coated Santa, those sugar reindeer, I closed my eyes tightly, but I could still hear. On Weight Watchers on Stillman, on week 1 on Tops, a Weight Watchers dropout from sugar detox. From the top of the scales to the top of the hall, now dash away pounds, now dash away all. Dressed up in Lane Bryant, from my head to my nightdress, my clothes were all bulging from too much excess. My droll little mouth and my round little belly shook when I laughed, like a bowl of jelly. I spoke not a word, but went straight to my work, ate all of the candy, and then turned with a jerk. And laying my finger beside my heartburn, I gave a quick nod toward the bedroom I turned. I eased into bed, to the heavens I cry. If temptation's removed, I'll get thin by and by. And I mumbled again as I turned for the night, in the morning I'll starve till I take that first bite.
Looks like tater tots are fattening. Well, here we go. All right, a real quick one. An Irishman was flustered after not being able to find a parking spot in a large mall parking lot. He said, "Lord," he prayed, "I can't stand this. If you open this space up for me, I swear I'll give up drinking whiskey and I promise to go to church every Sunday." Suddenly the clouds parted and the sun shone on an empty parking spot right in front of him. Without hesitation, the man said, "Never mind, I found one." All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to introduce and welcome Mala Carr singing Jingle Bells.
Hello, everyone. Can you handle another Jingle Bells?
Why not?
Yes or no? Here we go. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells,
All right.
ho, ho. Hey, the flag, throw me the flag. Thank you.
You know, she was afraid of what song to perform. She said, I don't know if people want to hear Jingle Bells again, or I don't know if they want to, what if they don't want to hear me? I said, Mala, trust me, they're going to love it.
I know they're way over there. I know, right?
Well, we have 1 minute, and a terrible joke was given to me by someone over there. and I just have to read it to you. A blind guy on a bar, excuse me, here we go. Here it is. A blind guy on a bar stool shouts to the bartender, "Want to hear a blonde joke?" In a hushed voice, the guy next to him says, "Before you tell that joke, you should know something. Our bartender's blonde, the bouncer's blonde, I'm 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, with a black belt. The guy sitting next to me is 6'2", weighs 225, and he's a football player, and we're all blondes. The fellow to your right is 6'5", pushing 300 pounds, and he's a wrestler, and he's blonde. Each one of us is a blonde. So think about it, mister. Do you still want to tell that joke?" The blind guy says, "Nah, not if I'm going to have to explain it 5 times." All right. It's a great pleasure to welcome the principal of our high school from Rydell High. Please welcome Paul Bartlett singing Mr. Grinch and the Christmas song. Thank you.
Okay. I was going to sing Jingle Bells. Is that okay? No? Okay. All right. Well, this song, it's called the Christmas song. And it's written actually by one of my favorite vocalists, and that was Mel Torme. Remember the Velvet Fog? Not Frog, Fog. So I'm not going to sing anything like him, so I won't even try this time. But I love this song, and it always brings back lots of memories, like a lot of our Christmas carols do. And I hope I can do it some justice. So here we go. This is not an easy song to play with my limited abilities. So, but here we go. Can you hear that? Okay. No. I used to be blonde. It's true. I had hair and everything. Okay, I think we're all set now. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know the Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple praise to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. I mean that. Merry Christmas, everybody. song, okay? This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to stand up for this and everything. And so, one of my favorite cartoon Christmas traditions when I was a young kid was Mr. Grinch. And I'm sorry I don't have a green outfit to put on for you tonight. And that's okay. It's awfully quiet in here. You're making me nervous. Okay, here we go. Gotta get everything just right. You know, I'm a professional. And, whoops, my strap's coming off. Told you I was a professional. Just not a professional guitarist. Bear with me, folks. All right. If I was a professional, I'd have people that would do this stuff for me. I'd have handlers and roadies and things like that. All right, well, we make do. I think we're ready. All right, that sounds good. Banana with the greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Well, your brain is full of spiders. You got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. Your soul is full of gum, Mr. Grinch. 3 words that best describe you, and I quote, stink, stank, and stunk. When you're a vile one, Mr. Grinch, you got termites in your smile. You got all the tender sweetness of a seasoned crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Choice between the two of you, I take the seasick crocodile. You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sinful sucks. Your heart's a dead tomato splotch with old purple spots, Mr. Grinch. It's my favorite one. Your soul is an appalling dump heap overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of deplorable rubbish imaginable, mangled up and tangled up in knots. Well, you naughty big Mr. Grinch, with nasty, naughty. You're a crooked, jerky jockey, and you're not a crooked horse, Mr. Grinch. That's the last one. You ready for it? Okay, you're a 3-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. All right, Mr. MC.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was terrific. Let's give Paul one more round of applause. And a big round of applause for all of you for coming out today. Thank you so much for making this day special. And a special shout out to Sister Mary Blanche Marjorie Goldberg.
Shalom! Shalom!
As well as all of the staff who worked hard on this, and all of the residents who worked tirelessly to get their skits together and make some great tunes. So.
And we also need to thank Connor and Terry who put this all together.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Have a good night, everyone.